I like to break rules and to experiment with new exercises. So I came up with these unconventional kettlebell drills that I decided to call the warrior swings. In addition to power, force absorption, and agility, it requires a lot of timing skills. It requires a full body counterbalance action, therefore a lot of coordination, and it permits to go all out. It builds on top of the fundamental moves, and so the snatch to start with, and the clean, and of course the swing. All these must be fully mastered before engaging into the warrior swing. Now let's break down the movement. There are two components. The first one is the one I've called the hammer. Let's take a look at that. So as you see, I am swinging the bell from the top of my back all the way to the other side. And I am now letting the bell run until its natural end of run at shoulder level. But I have another option, which is the one I show right now. I can try to stop and reverse the bell when it is still at hip level. And this means that I need to use my body as a counterbalance and to use my strength as well to stop the movement of the bell and reverse it. So in this case, it is pretty much harder, the second option, as opposed to the first option. Of course, both of them are available and they can even be alternated as I show here. So I will do a couple of movements at hip levels and then I'll switch to shoulder level or end of run level. Here we go. So this is end of run, and then hip level again, hip level again. I'm using 12 kilos here, which is a relatively light weight, but this is a very taxing movement, so I promise you that you will get exhausted soon, even when using a relatively light weight. So I keep on alternating here, hip level and shoulder level. And there's a strong counterbalance action by the body. Here I'm showing at slow motion, so you can see better the details of the movement. So I go all the way back and then in front at shoulder level in this case. And then again, all the way up, barely touch the back and move in the front, barely touch the back and then all the way to the other side, barely touch the back. Now, if this movement feels odd initially, this is the way to address it. So I'm showing here, I'm just snatching the bell, and instead of completing the movement in front, I am letting the bell drop on my back. So this is the way to start getting used to getting the bell come back to the upper back and barely touch. And this is another possibility. So essentially here, instead of snatching all the way up, I am cutting the snatch short and going with the bell back and touching my upper back. This is something that I'm going to show better here because I'm repeating the movement, so snatch and drop, and then snatch and drop again, but I'm going to turn around and show you how this looks from behind. So here it is, one more, and then I turn around and I show from the back the right position of the bell. So essentially I have the thumb of my hand touching the back, and it is really as kind of, it shouldn't hit the back, of course. It should be just a bare, just a soft touch. So this is also the way to get used to the right position. Now we look at the backhand, the second component of the warrior swing. As you see here, I am moving the bell over the opposite shoulder. And what is key for this one is the capacity to slow down the speed of the bell. So essentially it is force absorption, as I mentioned earlier. This is a little bit more tricky than the hammer, and it really needs a lot of practice. It takes practice to be able to learn this. I recommend that this is initially done with a lightweight because it takes practice to learn the movement properly. I'm going to show this in slow motion. So as you see, it's all the way from the back, passing over the opposite shoulder, and then extend the arm, and then all the way back. I called it the backhand because it resembles the move of the backhand in tennis, and I think it's probably a very good training for the backhand itself. At this point we can join the hammer and the backhand, and we can run the full warrior swing. Here we go, full range of motion, one side, other side, one side, other side. And next I'm going to show one more variation of it. And this is the roping drill, which is done by drawing a circle with the bell, an inclined circle, without pausing at the back in this case. This is quite a challenging drill, and it can be done only after getting full mastery of the previous movements and full control of the kettlebell trajectory. Otherwise, the knees are at risk. It's a great exercise for shoulder mobility, and I see a very good transfer from this drill to swimming and tennis, for example. If something goes wrong, remember that there is an escape way by letting the bell drop between the legs. If you want to see my next video, please subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next one.